Welcome back to Stream It. Our opening question this week comes from Tom. Had to call in a
You came up with
hotline.
it?
Oh, yeah, the old phone a friend lifeline.
Yep.
Whoa.
I'm draining. All of my creativity is
There's so many good
gone.
ones. You've knocked it out of the park every time. Makes
So,
sense.
He wants to know, if you were on a desert island with the ability to only watch one movie franchise for the rest of time, what would it be?
But wait, we always go first. Sarah, you go first.
Oh, okay. I think Marvel.
Really?
Wow. I did
I
not
was going to
expect that
say,
from
this is a layup here.
Yeah.
Well, there's like so many. Like there's
That's true.
so far, isn't there like 23 or something? So, because at first I was thinking Star Wars, but then you really only have like 12 movies if you include like the standalone ones.
True.
There's more Marvel ones, and then by the time you watch everything once, you can go back and watch them again because it's been so long.
That is a good point. Although that's a quality or a quantity argument.
Yeah, most of them are
Quality
Quality.
too. But especially because of the quantity.
yeah.
Harry Potter. No. Those would get old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of them would get old.
Well, I think I was leaning towards Marvel too, just because.
It might be the obvious pick because of the quantity.
Exactly. But I didn't expect all three of us to agree because I thought you were just going to pick Star Wars. I thought that was like a given.
What about like a James Bond? Or,
Yes, the 25th James Bond movie is coming out this year.
So you could.
There's that many.
That's a good point. That's a good call. If you're into Bond movies.
Just action, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, as we're talking, as you say that, things are popping to my head. Like, there's like 6 Die Hard movies. I know
Yeah,
people are super into
true.
those.
But mine is obviously the Transformers series. From Shia LaBeouf to Marky Mark, it can all be included.
Well, and then there's the Haley Steinfeld one.
Yeah, Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
Yeah,
Steinfeld?
so
Steinfeld?
just
Steinfeld.
you can watch those over and over again and,
And pick up new things.
and pick up new things. And just the way they transform every time is just so impressive. So, plus Optimus Prime's in most of them. So
You have
could spend a lot of time on that.
You've been sitting here just coming up with different franchises. I like legit thought of Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, and Lord of the Rings. Those are the only ones I could think
I
of.
did think of Lord of the Rings and weirdly Twilight, but I'm not bringing Twilight.
Oh yeah, it's what's the not the hummingbird? What's the Mockingjay? What's that called? Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
Games.
That's too dark.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that.
The only other thing would if you could stretch it and be like Disney originals, like 101 Dalmatians, Lion King, like if
Yeah.
you did, or Pixar.
Pixar technically is a universe. There's little hints in every.
Yeah. So I guess like those would probably be up there.
Yeah. But if we're thinking like actual,
Stories that kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Marvel for me too.
Well, there you go.
Wow,
Transformers.
I thought we were all going to agree, or me and you were going to agree on Marvel, but I didn't expect us to agree and you to go with Transformers. But it makes sense.
You didn't think of that.
This is the first time I've said something surprising. And there's King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's like
The
70
MonsterVerse.
it's just the beginning.
That one I need to see how it ends up before we judge it as a whole series.
Okay, that's fair enough.
What if this next one's terrible? I mean,
Then you're out. But it won't be.
it will not be.
And here we are on GVK again.
Yes. I'm sure that's going to be something that comes up often.
I have
Until
a feeling that in one of the
mid-March.
segments today, it's going to be brought up again.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So our first segment is underrated shows. We each chose a TV show from each streaming service that we feel is underrated. I guess the definition of underrated can be loose. Just something we feel like doesn't get appreciated enough or like not talked about enough or
Yeah.
so Netflix. Want to start with Netflix?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can start.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
today's your day.
This is weird. I'm not used to it. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes,
Okay.
tried and true.
Back.
I'm back
On
to
brand.
being really
Back on brand.
predictable. Yeah, not enough people watch that show, and I think it gets written off as like a teenage show, but it's like, I mean, it has elements of that,
Yeah.
but it's also really well done. And the most recent season is like genuinely like creepy. And the rest of it, like creepy, but like more just like, oh, spooky, like witches. But they like really knocked it out of the park in the last season,
Wow.
so it's good.
I've had that since you've been talking about it. It's been on my in my wheelhouse of shows I need to watch. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but
You should just mark it on the calendar for October 1st. Burn through
that's
it during
true.
Halloween
It might be better
season.
in a Halloween thing.
Yeah, it's a good Halloween show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
no,
you'd
you've
like
talked it up enough that I'm like interested.
And that's Sally Draper, right? The actress that was Don
Oh
Draper.
yeah.
Nice.
Funny.
And one of the aunts is from Lord of the Rings. I don't know who she was in Lord of the Rings, but she was big in that. And then the other aunt is from the UK office.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
cool.
Is
For
it the
whoever
same
cares
as
about
like
that.
Sabrina, like the same setup as the like original Sabrina, like with the black cat and like
She lives with two
like
aunts
the
and they have
sitcom?
Salem.
Yeah,
cat?
that's like the only similar
Okay.
thing though.
Yeah,
It's like darker and more leans into like there's a hell and like there's Satan that's connected to all the witches.
Yeah.
Like it leans more into like the darkness of it.
cool.
Wow.
My Netflix, kind of in the same vein, maybe not. This is a show that started out on Sci-Fi, but is now on Netflix. The Sci-Fi channel is now on Netflix, called The Magicians, and it's about a bunch of kids. Well, it's about a world where magicians live amongst like regular people, but it's kind of like hidden in plain sight type of deal. And there's a whole school, and this group of kids starts with their like first year at the school, and they find out that magic is like a thing in the world. And there's like 6 or 7 seasons, but it's just a fun like magical, but it's a little bit dark as far as like I don't know, some of the content is a little bit heavy, but yeah, it's just cool, the magic piece of it. And they find out that there's like a whole nother, or many, but a whole nother world that they can like travel between, and this is where magic like comes from, and it's just like a interesting story. And they kind of just go through these different, they end up pretty much each season they go on like a quest to either save magic or like make, do something. So it's kind of an action adventure, but with magic, sci-fi. Yeah, so kind of cool. But I don't know, nobody really, I feel like it's popular enough to have had 6, 7, 8 seasons and to get picked up by Netflix, but nobody really talks about it. It's something I've watched pretty much all of. So.
I've only heard of it from you.
Yeah. But maybe because it was started out as like a network show, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little underrated. It's pretty good. Boom. That's my take.
Cool. Mine is the BBC version of Sherlock,
Ooh.
which has Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman as Sherlock Holmes and Watson. It's, I think, 4 seasons. Each season has like 3 hour-and-a-half episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're just, it's Sherlock Holmes stories, and it's that whole thing, but it's really well done. It's modern, except for like one season, they like just do a whole episode like it's the 1800s, which was cool, but they just like act like that's normal in the show, and it's just cool. But it's just really good, and there's little ties as the season goes on, but there's like the big story in each season.
Oh, cool.
It's really good, really well done.
I feel like someone's recommended, it might have been you, recommended me that, to watch that before. Haven't got around to it, but.
So is each episode in each season like its own like mystery?
Well, I mean, it's the whole like Sherlock Holmes thing, where I think he has a supervillain named Moriarty, I think is his name, and he is just always there, but it's like a different case basically every episode,
Oh, okay.
but it has like a larger thing.
Oh, okay.
It's cool.
That's cool. All right, Hulu. Should we just keep going in the circle?
Yeah.
Hulu.
So mine is a network show called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. And it feels silly even talking about it. I think it's on NBC. And it's about this girl. It's
Zoe.
Zoe. But the actress is Jane Levi. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I've seen the first episode of this show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Lauren Bram is in it. She like is getting an MRI, but they play music through it to like, calm you down, like doctors do. But then like it malfunctions. They don't explain how it happens, but suddenly she's able to know what people are thinking because their inner thoughts are expressed through like them singing a song. And like they're not actually singing, but she can like, she sees it as like if you were sad, you would sing a really sad song and you would do a full dance number, but you didn't actually.
Which I tend to do.
Yeah.
No
But I
change
would
there.
hear it, but really only like a second has gone by. So she's able to like hear everyone's thoughts through that way, and it's just like her going about life hating it and like constantly having moments interrupted because like they break out into song and like
I feel like that would be fun at first. And then you're like, okay.
yeah. But yeah, it's like cheesy, but it's good. It's kind of like Glee, but for like an older demographic.
Well, I was wondering about that because isn't it the whole thing with like the big Glee number is like part of the plot? Like whatever they sing at practice one day is just like part of the plot. Like the song is like.
I think it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, it's a little more like bearable. And it's very like self-aware. And it's self-aware. I say as someone who loved Glee when I was younger.
I watched a lot of Glee.
Oh yeah. But it's like self-aware of like it's being silly. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
main character herself like hates it.
Yeah.
So it's funny. And the choreographer is the woman who did La La Land. So I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
at least
well done.
very well done. Yeah. So yeah.
Nice. My Hulu is, I'm not sure if so it's Future Man. I don't know if I've talked about this before.
I've
Have you
guys
watched
seen
the
this?
first episode of this.
This is out of control show.
Yeah.
This is like a Seth Rogen, like that whole vein of comedy, just out of control. Kid who beats a video game and then has to, it is a game that had been sent back from the future, looking for someone who was going to, if they could beat the game, then they could like save their race in the future. So they come back and it's just like this kid who's eating Doritos on his like beanbag chair and they're like, "You're our savior." And it's just ridiculous. They go on whatever kind of adventure, and there's I think 3 seasons now, and they just travel time and create chaos, and it's just that Seth Rogen like ridiculousness. It's pretty funny though. It's fun.
That's been
you
recommended
get it?
by one
Yeah.
of my brothers. Yeah.
It is pretty good. I think that's a Hulu original too.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his name?
Josh
Josh Hudson's in
Okay,
it. He's
that's what I
like
was gonna
funny
ask.
and kind of dry funny, and
Yeah.
he does a good job. Yeah. I feel like it's a lot of that like 2008-9 comedy. So like a lot of people our age is like were into that kind of, you know, when that all became big with Seth Rogen, Wedding Crashers, and like that whole era. Same kind of comedy, I think. So, yeah, that's a good one.
My Hulu one is does not run anymore, and it probably is a little dated, but it's The League.
Oh, so good.
It was originally on FX, I think, and it is the story of these like 6 friends that are all in a fantasy football league together. And it's just stupid. It has like Nick Kroll. It was like his first role.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Jonathan Lajoie, is it? Lajoie or
I don't know,
something?
yeah.
But it has like everyone you see, like Paul Scheer, you'd be like, oh, that person. Like now they've all kind of like gone on to like Nick Kroll doing his thing, all that. But it's just a stupid comedy.
Oh, it's so funny.
It starts like heavy with football at the beginning, and then at the end it's just like, oh yeah, our lineup. And it's just like a stupid comedy by the end. It's
Yeah.
really funny. What's his name? Jason Mantzoukas or something. You would recognize him from.
Oh.
He's in Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he Jay? In Big
Yes.
Mouth? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
he's,
my god.
he's
He's in the good place too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah. He's in it. So it's just like kind of the show that was like the starter for all those guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It is really funny.
It's really funny. It starts heavy on football stuff and then just kind of.
It's so relatable for me. Just like wife and kids and playing fantasy football and
Yeah, it's good. It's really funny.
Is it still on Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just on Hulu and I was like going through the shows and I saw it and I was like, oh, I love the league. So
I'll have to
good.
watch that.
Shiva.
Yes. Oh my God.
Prime. I should have looked harder because I wasn't prepared for Prime. So mine is kind of like a cheat answer, but I stand by it. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Mainly because you don't like it.
That's also their headlining show.
But
It has won Emmys.
Like you turn on
But-
Amazon Prime, there's the Marvelous Miss Maisel.
but I feel like there's still a lot of people that haven't
It's true.
seen it.
It's
It's
true.
very critically praised, but most people I know have not watched it.
It's true. And that kind of was what we were talking about earlier is Amazon Prime in general seems like they have, it is underrated. Amazon Prime, like all their shows are kind of in that same boat.
Yeah.
But sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I can think of a better one in the next two. I'll just need to do a Google search.
I do feel like there's a lot of shows on there that are underrated. But one I just watched was a new one from 2019, Wayne. It's about a kid, I think from like Massachusetts, but like a little bit rougher part, who's like,
Worcester.
yeah, yeah. And his like family dies, and he's just like a rough around the edges, like fighting kid who ends up going to find his like mom who left when he was young, like down in Florida. And it's just this like journey he goes on, but he also has a girl that goes with him, and he's not a very emotional, like in touch with his emotions type of kid. So he's trying to learn how to woo this girl and I don't know, deal with whatever he's got going on. But it was fun. It was good. So Wayne,
I never heard of that.
yes, it's pretty good.
Mine is another one that I guess they could say is like one of their top tier shows, but I don't think it gets a lot of love, is Jack Ryan with John Krasinski. Just kind of like good action.
Yeah,
I don't even think.
and a cool story. I think I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, okay, this character's not the best, like this actor's not the best certain times, but I like it. I like the
Yeah. I want to watch more of that. I watched the first episode and I was like, wow, that was like really good. Like it set up the whole premise and everything, and then I haven't gotten back to it.
I can't find anything else. It's Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
All right.
We'll take it.
For HBO Max, I feel like this was what I had the most options for, that I had to choose from. But I went with Love Life. It's a TV show starring Anna Kendrick. It's 9 episodes, I think, and it's the story of like all of like basically like her ones that got away. But it's telling you her whole like life. Each episode probably there's like a year in between.
Oh, wow.
But obviously it's connecting because it's like her life and her friends and everything. And it all leads to like who's the one that she like actually ends up with.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's very like funny. Like I think she's a very funny actress.
Oh, she is,
So
yeah.
it has, if you like her comedy, it's perfect. And it's
Cool. I
really
didn't
well
even know
written
about that.
and like just it's cool the way that they clearly had to plan this out, like because everything connects and even like little things will just like.
Is it her the whole time, or does it start with like a young?
It's her the whole time. There's one episode where she like is at a therapist and is remembering something of when she was a teenager. So it shows her young then, but it still cuts between like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
therapist office.
Cool.
But they just made her look slightly younger, and then it's just like normal looking. Anna
Oh,
Kendrick.
but it's still her.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
still
I didn't know
her.
if they
Oh
were
no,
like-
well the teenage one is not her.
Oh,
but like
okay.
the first episode, I think she's like 21,
Yeah.
and then by the end she's like 30
Yeah.
or something. But,
Cool.
yeah.
That was one of the first like HBO Max shows
I
that
think
you
it was
had
the
to have like
first-
Max to get it.
Oh, really?
I think it
So
was
it's
the
pretty
very
new.
first show.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it came out in like last May.
Oh, cool.
But I only just heard of it like last month,
I'll
and
have
then I
to check
watched
that
it in
out.
like 2 days, and I was like,
Yeah.
"That's amazing."
I like Anna Kendrick. I know we're all a fan of this show, but I feel like people don't. Like people that I talk to have been like, I haven't seen that. Da, da, da. But Silicon Valley is so funny.
I
and
love
just
it.
the whole premise. I feel like there's not a lot of shows like it, with that like building a business and like how can that be like the source of a comedy show? But like, it's great. The characters are great. I mean, you guys know. So I don't know. I just feel like that doesn't get as much love from like the general public as it deserves. So
I agree.
I picked The Night of, which is a miniseries.
oh, I've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, with Riz Ahmed and John Turturro, and it's about. It was like Riz Ahmed's first role, I think, or like the one that got him, like noticed. It's about a kid that takes his dad's taxi one night, and accidentally leaves the on sign on, and before he can turn it off, a woman gets in the car, and then the woman ends up dead. So the whole thing is he's wrongly accused for it, and his lawyer is John Turturro, and it's just like a whole like how messed up the system is. It's just basically like, listen, pin it on him. And he's like, I didn't do it. So it's like just a real good mystery of like the system being all screwed up and stuff. And it's like, what's great about it really is it's 8 episodes. So it's like you get in and out in those 8 episodes.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
Oh, yeah. It's good. It was like I'd say like 3 years ago maybe was there like, this is our Sunday night thing.
Yeah.
But since it was one season, a miniseries, it
Right.
didn't
I
last.
think I saw part of it, but
Yeah, it's creepy. It's like the very first episode when he picks her up, it's like creepy, but
yeah.
it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
This is working. I have to check out like
I know,
2
we're getting
shows
like a whole
already.
list here. I gotta like.
And Disney Plus, this is another hard one because I feel like everything is rightfully like very popular on that service.
Yeah. And I think we made a rule in the pre-production meeting.
We could do a movie.
We can do a movie.
Yeah.
So
So I went with Zootopia.
Oh yeah.
I know that's like
I love Zootopia.
obviously a very popular one, but I think it gets lost in all the other ones, and
Agreed.
it's so creative. I think it's one of their more creative ones.
Yeah.
Just like every little detail. Like there's a part where they're in the train station and the little hamsters come down the tubes with like briefcases. And that is my favorite part of any movie.
I also just saw on Instagram that when the chief, who's like a bull or something, or a bison, I forget what he is reading something, he puts glasses on, and it's known that bison in the animal kingdom have bad eyesight. And someone said, like, was that why you had him wear glasses? And they said yes.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like
my
so
God.
clever.
That's awesome. Yeah, Zootopia is great.
Yeah, it's
Right?
really good.
I forgot that was on there.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, the sloths working at the DMV is the greatest thing ever. It is so funny.
Where the elephant is probably like the one person who knows what happened to like the missing otter, and elephants are supposed to have great memory and she doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, it's so good.
That is a good one. I also feel like the Pixar ones, all those get so hyped because it's Pixar, and even though like Moana and Frozen, it's like so much hype around all those. Zootopia had a little bit of hype, but not as much as those. So
No, and it was one I think
and it was so
people,
good.
like adults saw and they were like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
Everything like they thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Mine is. This is actually a family favorite, but I don't know if a lot of other people are as into
I know,
it.
I already know what it is.
The Newsies.
Oh,
It's not what I expected.
Yeah. Newsies Broadway musical. is on Disney Plus, and it's just a great. It's got Christian Bale in it. It's like 1990s, early 90s. They made it, but it's just a great movie. It was great soundtrack, obviously, because of the Newsies soundtrack. But I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of people even know about that, like, stage play. It's somewhat popular, but not like the big one or as big as the others. So maybe underrated in that realm, but also it's a pretty good movie. So it's a throwback. It's a throwback for sure.
I thought you were going. Well, I will say your wife's pick now. I thought you were going to say Emperor's New Groove. I thought that's what you were going to say.
That is a good one.
I thought that's where you're going when
She
you said
loves that
family
movie.
favorite. So Ari, I picked your movie. Don't worry.
She does love that.
Mine actually is a newer one, and I feel like it got lost because of like COVID and everything. But right at the beginning, they released Onward, which was like the mystical quest one with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. And yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good.
I liked too that it was like the brotherly love story thing. It's just something different too. I think Pixar, or all the Disney movies have done a really good job. I read an article about this, about going away from like the man, woman, damsel in distress, that whole thing, like from the old ones.
Like the old time fairy tale.
Yeah, and exploring different relationships and like different like motives for characters and stuff. And this one was just like a brotherly love one, which was cool to do.
Also very funny that the bikers were fairies. Like
Yeah.
they did funny, clever things like that. And like that unicorns ate out of the trash can. It was just like funny little.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really good, and it's basically just like a fun quest with like magical. So it's right up your alley.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, I feel like it kind of was like the pandemic kind of hit, and it didn't get to go to theaters.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, now we have to focus on Mulan and Soul, and
I think it just feels different too because of that. Like even if it was as good, because it wasn't like hyped and people went to the theaters to see it, it doesn't like sit the same. But
yeah,
it was really good.
I saw a tweet today actually that was like, Pixar really asked like, what if toys had feelings? What if emotions had feelings? And like that whole long list that like people always say. And then one of them was, what if Chris Pratt had feelings? And like they just kept listing the other ones. All right. So that's that on our underrated shows. We can put another little list out on Instagram.
yeah.
You guys can add if we missed any. I mean, we obviously missed some because
Yeah.
this is a short list.
I
but-
feel like I got like a whole bunch of bookmark in my head though. Like I gotta go watch that. Gotta go watch this.
I know, I got like
that
2
was-
shows now that I've
Yeah.
already.
Guys, I promise I will try Miss Maisel again. I promise. I'll give it another shot.
I don't want you to. If you don't want to.
It adds to the show drama.
Next up, we have our most anticipated movies of 2021. So this is just any movie, streaming or not, right? That's coming out or
Yeah.
supposed to come out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we picked 3 each. Do we want to just go around and? each-
You should go first.
Yeah, I'll go
Keep
first.
it going.
Black Widow.
Oh.
It's been over a year now since it was supposed to be released, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get pushed again. It's set for May. I'm just assuming it'll get pushed again. But
Yeah.
I'm really excited, and I want to see it.
What stinks is like, who knows if it's like even going to matter in the like phase 4. Just like I just want to see it now.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Jim from Stranger
Yeah.
Things with a Russian accent, like overweight, super strong guy.
And like I don't think it will matter because it takes place before Endgame. So how much can it really matter? And at this point, I'm like, you're gonna lose people's interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where it's like maybe put it on Disney Plus just to get it out there so people see it.
Yeah.
I feel like they should. Because at this point, I mean, before I was like, I want to see it in theaters if I can, because it's a Marvel movie, and now I'm like, I don't care. I'll pay $30 to watch it at home.
Yeah.
Especially if they kind of time it between the end of WandaVision and the beginning of Falcon and Winter Soldier. People are like, oh, okay, I'm like
back
back
on the
into
Marvel,
Marvel,
train,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's my big one.
Nice. I guess I don't like. I'm kind of confused about what that's about. Is it just her like backstory? Not really.
Not even like origin. It's kind of
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
her
like,
going to tie up loose ends at home or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's you like hear about how she was like trained to be an assassin and stuff, and they'll like show little scenes throughout some of the
Yeah.
movies, but you've never. I think this is gonna be like the most you've ever seen and the closest you get to knowing like about what her life was
Yeah.
before the Avengers.
Cool. So there's some context there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just watch it for context.
but I mean, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's my first one. I'm gonna go with the Suicide Squad. I liked the first one, even though it wasn't great, but I like the premise of it. That like they're breaking out or using these bad guys to combat other bad guys, type of thing, and just an interesting premise. And I feel like they kind of, while I liked the idea of the first one, I think they fell short at a couple of parts. So I want to see if they can do it better. And yeah, superhero movie, sort of.
Yeah.
Super villain movie.
Yeah, the first one, that I feel the same way. It was like,
Yeah.
I liked this until a point.
Yeah.
It was like,
And
you
the
got
idea of
80,
it, yeah.
85% there.
Yeah. So we'll see if they can redeem themselves. And it is a cool premise, so we'll see.
My first one is Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just like, bring it back. Give me crazy plane stuff and
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Just, why not? That's like one that's like, I want to wait. I want to wait till I can go to a movie theater though.
Yeah. I feel like, so I don't know, I think I've seen bits and pieces of Top Gun, but like with that coming out, I might want to like watch the original
Yeah.
and then fire
course
up
you
the
do.
new one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people might be in that same boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just excited for it. Just like one of those summer blockbusters.
That's a good like drive-in movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great call.
And you can go to a drive-in.
You can, yes.
so-
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that'll bring some movies back into theaters.
They were open
when it's
last
the
year, but they
summer.
like didn't release any movies, so they were playing like
Yeah.
the drive-ins
Doing,
last
like-
year were open, but
I looked into drive-ins and it was like, I don't need to see Jurassic Park.
yeah,
Seen it. Like,
Oh yeah, it was reruns.
I'm not gonna like pay to go watch.
Yeah.
You know.
It's on Netflix. Sorry. TV's 50 inches. That's fine.
Okay, my second one is Spider-Man 3. There's a bit of a trend going on. I didn't know that was coming out in 2021
I didn't
until
either.
you sent that list.
Well, there you
So
go.
it's
You
coming
sent
out
a list?
I sent a list on
on
Instagram,
Instagram.
I
trying
might
to
have
help
seen
you
it.
out a little bit.
I might have seen it. I'm sorry.
So what is this? Is this Tom Holland?
Yes.
It's everyone.
Yeah. So I don't know
Oh, yeah. I saw this list.
how much of like what's been seen and like on Twitter and stuff is like true. But apparently it's Tom Holland. Also Tobey Maguire. Also Andrew Garfield. All of the MJs from like all of the movies before. Emma Stone apparently.
Oh.
A bunch of the villains like Doc
Is
Ock
this-
is in it.
Is this the Spider-Verse live
I-
action?
I think pretty much.
It's almost like they saw the popularity of that and were like, let's just rip it off live action.
Which I
We'll
would
bring everybody
be-
back.
I just feel like I'm sure they're gonna nail it, whatever they do. I'm a little worried, but I'm sure they'll be fine. I just feel like they had a plot that opened up at the end of the second one, with like now everyone knows who Spider-Man is, and also they think that he killed, right? They think he killed Jake Gyllenhaal because he like framed him. So that could be a whole movie in itself, but now I'm like, well, wait. So are you going to do that and also introduce Spider-Verse, but then also elaborate on Spider-Verse because they're all going to be coming? So like you're going to introduce this and then have a whole movie about it, but also finish up the last plot that you had? I just feel like that's a lot.
Yeah, wow.
For, like-
I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
2.5 hours. There's a little more freedom, I feel like, with cartoons. Like, if something isn't explained
Yeah.
that well, you can, like, whatever.
Right.
It's not realistic. I mean, not that.
Like if
I don't
John
know how
Mulaney
you
plays a
match
pig.
them.
Yeah, you just roll with it. But I feel like live action, there's a little more.
I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. It's gonna be that meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's been the thing. It's people are just like, putting the meme out and they're adding a Spider-Man and it's just 3 Spider-Men pointing at each other.
Oh, I saw a tweet that was like, there has to be a scene where Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield get disgusted that Tobey Maguire's webbing actually comes out of his veins.
Oh yeah.
Because they have the little machines.
All right, next one. Space Jam.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, give it to me. I want it again.
Oh, come on.
I want LeBron Duncan on Monsters. I mean, this was a favorite. The original Space Jam was incredible.
Yeah, and leave it untouched.
I gotta see it. I gotta see the new one, updated. I mean, I think there's probably other NBA stars in it, right?
Yeah,
If it was anything like the first one.
there are. And that's why Anthony Davis took less money to be on the Lakers, because they kicked him a little to be in Space Jam.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, for all the reasons I like the first Space Jam is why I'm into this one.
I've never seen
And
it.
it might not be as good.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's a classic, but it's exactly what you think it is. My second one is, I can't believe you said this earlier, is No Time to Die. The last Daniel Craig James Bond movie is supposed to come out this summer. So that's my theme, is I just want to see these loud action movies in theaters.
Yeah, you just want the theater experience.
Exactly.
The Dolby all around you.
Yeah, so No Time to Die.
My third is Don't Look Up, the one coming to Netflix.
Oh.
I don't know. The cast alone has me so intrigued.
Is that the Leo one?
That's
Yeah.
the Leo one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to see that one too.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be, you can tell that Netflix is like, this is our biggest one
Yeah.
that we've ever had.
We got Leo.
You can tell they're proud. So I'm excited. I feel like it's going to be good.
All right. And the moment everyone's been waiting for. GVK. Godzilla vs. Kong this March. Be there or be square.
I had stuff to do during the 2 snow days we just had, but I so wanted to say I love working from home as Godzilla King of the Monsters was starting on my TV. I wanted to send you guys that picture. I just was like,
should have.
I was clearing snow and doing that kind of crap, so I couldn't. But I almost sent that, like, I love working from home.
So you didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it yet.
Okay.
Wait, you haven't seen?
I haven't seen
at all.
that
Okay.
one, no.
Before our
big fan.
viewing, you're gonna have to.
Oh,
watch
I
it.
will. Yeah. So
Maybe watch it twice. I don't know.
my last movie is kind of a cheat because it's, even though I don't necessarily like this actor more than anyone else, it's a Timothée Chalamet double feature
Wow.
because he's in Dune, which I really want to see, and he's in the new Wes Anderson movie, The French Dispatch.
Oh yeah.
And I saw those two, and I was like, I want to see both of these. I love Wes Anderson quirky movies.
Yeah.
And then Dune's supposed to be this
Yeah, that's good.
the biggest movie of the year, so I cheated and
Well,
put them
second
together.
biggest.
Second biggest.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know. Those worms in Dune look pretty huge.
I don't know. You're talking about Godzilla and King
We're gonna
Kong.
have to get a map of scale, like Empire State Building.
Don't
Godzilla,
forget, Kong was a
Kong.
teenager in Skull Island, so he's going to be even bigger this time.
Yeah. I just don't know how big the worms that come out of the ground in Dune are. I actually know nothing about Dune.
Yeah,
It's
I
like a
know.
book series.
I didn't know there was worms.
Me
You're
either,
telling me there's
but
big
I'm,
monsters in that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They look like, what are they called? What does Boba Fett get eaten by? Sarlacc? Sarlacc.
Sarlacc.
They look like those, the big worms from
That means nothing to me.
Star Wars. You've seen Star Wars.
What?
The big worm that, Boba Fett falls down into.
Oh, yeah,
Episode
yeah, yeah.
That's what the things from Dune look like.
Oh, those are big.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just,
Yeah.
God, you're just like Hulk and Ragnarok. Big monster!
I agree with you though. Like, I don't know anything about Dune, but for some reason I'm so excited for
Yeah,
it.
it was-
just looks so cool.
So it was a book series, and then it was a movie in the 80s. Haven't seen it,
Can't
haven't read the
trust those
book.
80s
I don't
movies.
think the movie did well. and
Right.
That's why everyone at
I think
first,
it's like a cult movie at this point.
Yeah.
And then this one's supposed to be huge. The guy that's directing it directed Arrival with Amy Adams.
Mhm.
So that's supposed to be, people are excited about that.
Wow.
Yeah, the author of the book had to put a glossary at the end of the book for all of the terms he made up for this universe. Like,
That's brilliant.
that's insane
Yeah.
world building. And I did have Godzilla vs. Kong on my list. I cut it, but I wanted you
Thank
to know
you.
it was there.
Oh, I didn't even bother because I knew it was going to come out.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate you
why I
guys
left
leaving
it
that
out.
one for me.
I knew it would get love, so I didn't need to include
You know what
it.
I didn't see on the list I looked at, but I'm seeing here that I know you'll be excited. There's an Edgar Wright movie.
Ooh.
I don't know how much you like Scott Pilgrim versus the World,
Oh.
Shaun
Hot
of the
Fuzz,
Dead,
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, yeah. But I
Great
love his
directing.
movies. Baby
Yeah.
Driver.
Oh, Baby Driver.
Yeah.
He's got those like quick cuts that like tell the
Yes.
story. That's a little.
He has one
unique.
coming out?
Yeah. It's called Last Night in Soho.
Oh, I think I did see that on one of the lists that
Yeah.
But
It's just great to have like real movies coming out.
I know.
I know.
Not to knock the other ones, but Pixar did okay. They still released a couple, but so many like this past year has just been nothing as far as like. I even like to go on like Apple movies where they put all the new ones that have just gotten released, and like I'll spend $5 and watch like a blockbuster right now just on like a nice movie night at home. Like you couldn't really do that this last year. It was like, all right, I gotta search Netflix for something I haven't seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, there's a hype all about, so.
There was like every 3 months there was like, okay, this is coming out, and it's like, yes,
Yeah.
finally.
And you don't want to see it, or you wait until it
Yeah.
gets released on whatever.
Or they'd be like $19.99. I was like,
Yeah. Pay $19.99 or wait 6 months and King of Staten Island's on HBO.
yeah. And I, of course, threw in a Letterboxd review to wrap up this episode. To be honest, when I first watched the trailer, I thought this is not going to be my thing. But as a 21-year-old with an existential crisis, this is definitely my thing. I still haven't seen the movie, but I feel like that sums it up pretty well. All right, we'll see you next week.